and welcome to Snide's Return, a tabletop roleplay podcast. My guest today comes ready to reclaim the wasteland, capable of dealing with any potential fallout. She knows how to take the initiative to provide safe gaming spaces for the community, and is a vault of knowledge. She provides oversight for any mysterious stranger, so they don't become dog meat during their adventures. From the ghosts of double O's to OMGs in D&D, my guest has played, run, and promoted them all. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome community manager, dungeon master, overseer, streamer, voice actor, and small dagger, April Hill. April, welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness, that was like the best intro ever. Can I steal that for like my future intros for all intros? That was so, you make me feel so like special. Thank you.
You are special. You've things we'll get into as we go through the interview, but you have achieved a lot in your own right and things to be celebrated. So, should we start at the beginning then, April? And how did you yourself get into tabletop role-playing games, please?
Well, I have always enjoyed playing games. I've always been a gamer since I was a little kid. I grew up playing the old Nintendo, playing Mario, Marble Madness, Duck Hunter, all of that. So I've always had a passion for gaming. Loved board games, loved video games, just anything, where you could use your imagination and play. I was in UIL storytelling as a kid. And I've always loved games and storytelling. And I had always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons since I heard about it, but I never got the opportunity because, well, I lived in a very small town growing up for the most part of my childhood in Texas. So it was not really, heard of or a welcomed thing. But eventually, when I was an adult, some of my friends who we would get together weekly and play tabletop games like once a week. It was Thursday night was tabletop game night. So we would get together every week. And eventually one of my friends said, "Hey, we're going to start up a D&D campaign." And I was like, "Yes, please." Instantly wanted to jump in on that. I'd played games, like Fiasco and some that were like, role play light, but this was my opportunity to finally get into the world of D&D, and I absolutely loved it. It was just like everything that I had always wanted in a game, and it just felt so natural to me to be playing in this world where there's mechanics, but also storytelling and collaboration and adventure, and just it was. I loved it. So it wasn't long after that I started DMing myself, and then just finding all of these other games that I now play. So, yeah.
And so when did so you went from small town girl through this journey. I was going to go on a whole song lyric there, but it wasn't going to work. And sort of got into this group and sort of picked up D&D and a few other games. When did that go from being just a hobby to where you are now, effectively as overseer, GM, and community manager?
Well, it snowballed rather quickly because I'm the kind of person, and I've heard this could be a trait of some kind of something that I've never been diagnosed with. But when I get into things, I throw myself into those things. I immerse myself in them full force. So it was like that with this. I started, I was playing, and then I started DMing, and then one of my friends, Logan, who runs the Red Hair Inn, who is a great dungeon master and friend. He followed me on Instagram, and we'd been following each other for just, not very long, but he was a part of this other group that was needing players, and they were looking to diversify. So, of course they were looking for more female, people of color, LGBTQ, just they want to diversify. And Logan was like, "Hey, I know this girl. I think she'd be great." So they reached out to me and got me in, and I started streaming with them. And then I, of course, just like when I started playing D&D, not long after that, I was like, hey, I would really love to run a game of Fallout, but in like a TTRPG setting, which
Mm,
this was before 2D20 came out with Modiphius. This is before
mm,
Modiphius got the 2D. Well, unbeknownst to me, they had already had it, but I was running. I was running it before they had come out with it. So,
yes.
um, my group, we were using a D&D adaptation by Spilled Ale Studios. So it was Fallout, but using D&D rules.
Mm.
And then as soon as, we found out about Modiphius 2D20 and they came out with that, we switched over. So it was kind of cool. Yeah. It was very like, oh, and now I'm doing this, and now I'm doing this, and now I'm doing this. So
You've certainly sort of taken the plunge. I can
yes.
sort of empathise with you in that respect. So, what was it like going from home games to stream games? Did that desire to perform and embody a role sort of energize you? Did you feel any nervousness from going from round a table to heads in boxes and performing on Twitch, for example?
Yes and no. I love it. The thrill of it and everything. I still get jitters and nervous every time, we go live doing anything really. But also I feel at home in front of performing in front of an audience. I've always been in, like I grew up in band. I was, first chair from the time I started playing until I left. And being the drum major, I was the one up there leading the band. I love performing and being in front of people. So this just was, and voice acting. I love, I just, it's something
Hmm.
that I've always loved to do. So it was just kind of like, the nervousness and the newness of it was exciting, but I love it so much. I love the chillness and the, being able to play off stream as well. That's and not live. Like that's a lot of fun. Just getting to goof around and drink
Hmm.
and hang out with my friends. But I do love performing, and as long as it's not scripted, I've only ever done a scripted game once, and I will never do it again. It was awful, and it wasn't me GMing, by the way. So I would never script a game for my
Hmm.
players. But yeah, but I love that. I love performing and just being on my toes and yes anding people and my friends. So yeah.
Well, I'll come back to some GM tips and overseer tips in a little while. But how did going from D&D with the red hair in sort of move into the initiative order and your involvement with Modiphius?
Oh well, I didn't start with the initial with Red Heron. It was another group before that. That was just my friend Logan. We had, and a lot of other of us that are now with the initiative order. We had come from this other group, and unfortunately, like a lot of other people have experienced, that group turned out to be not the best group, and it was spoiled. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't the group. It was just a handful of people that were in charge were not making good decisions and not being welcoming or being the most trustworthy. So unfortunately, a lot of us, like 99% of us left when that happened. And, initiative order, we'd always been friends with, so many of us had always been friends with the people at initiative order, and they welcomed us in, took all of us crazy people in, into their community, and they're so welcoming and so kind. And now I get to, help, organize that community and that channel. And then of course now we have all of these other little communities, like Logan's community has branched off, and he does, we have this whole little network of communities that are working together instead of just one singularity that's like, no, you can't play with anybody else. You belong to us. We see that this is a game that's meant to be shared. These are games that are meant to be shared with everybody, and everybody should play well with everybody. Like we play with, Blackwater D&D and gosh, Weave the Tail. I mean, there's so many, there's so many communities now, that we play with. So, and I just love that about the initiative order. But leading into how you said how I got to be a part of with Modiphius is Um, well, I love Fallout and I love Skyrim. Those are two of my favorite games. There's another game that's in my top, but it's not one of our IPs just yet. But yeah, I love Skyrim and I love Fallout, and so of course, they have the miniatures games. We have the miniatures games, the skirmish games, and now the tabletop game. Roll 2D20 Fallout 2D20. And so when I was running my stream of Fallout and we switched over to 2D20, it was just like, oh, I love this company. I love these minis. I love everything that they do. And then the community manager position popped up and I was like, well, I've been running the social media and stuff for the community that I told you about before that dissolved. And then I stepped in and started helping the Initiative Order with their community management and social media and stuff like that. So it's something I really enjoyed, building up these communities. So when I saw that community manager position popped up, I was like, yes, this is something that I would love to do. And it felt like something, with my professional life, it's felt like something that I'd been leading up to doing this kind of position. So yeah, interviewed with them and the rest is history. I love it.
So I follow you on various platforms and can see your enthusiasm for the games, but where can people go to find you on social media, please, Abe?
Oh, sure. I am stiletto_assassin on Instagram and stiletto DM on Twitter. I am on TikTok, but I haven't posted any content. It's stiletto_assassin. Also on my Twitch is stiletto_assassin. So pretty easy to find me all over there. And I have not done any streaming on my own channel just yet, but plan on doing that soon because I paint minis and make terrain for my games all the time. So I think people might enjoy seeing how I do it. And I'm not a professional by any means. I'm not a professional painter, but I do enjoy painting. So it'd be fun to sit and chat and, talk to people while I paint. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, casting a casual eye over the stuff you put up on Instagram of the stuff you created for the Fallout games, it looks. I wouldn't know you weren't professional by how great it looks.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a lot of fun to do. So, and my players enjoy it, and I enjoy it, and it seems like people that watch enjoy it. So that's all that matters. It makes me happy.
And so, mention there about your Fallout or the Fallout game that you were the overseer for. What is it about Fallout for you that makes it so special? I'll use that.
Well, one of my favorite genres is post-apocalyptic wasteland. Some of my favorite movies are that. I don't know. I've always been drawn to that genre, and I love the video games. I don't know. It's just I don't know why I enjoy it so much. I just do. I like the music in the games. I'm very drawn to music. And that's something that I loved about it. And I just love the style of the game. So when I found out that there's a TTRPG and I can put people in different scenarios and, play with them in the wasteland instead of just playing, by myself on a computer screen or, a TV screen, I was like, yes, I want to do this.
But yeah, no, fair enough. And you posted stuff from when you were at Gen Con for Modiphius, and obviously the stuff you put on with respect to your own Fallout game. You can sort of see the enthusiasm. What's it been like, sort of helping to sell the product and the IP effectively to maybe TTRPG players that have, or new overseers that maybe haven't considered running this franchise for their table?
Oh, it still surprises me that so many people do not know that there's a skirmish game or a tabletop role-playing game of Fallout out there. And we talk about this internally all the time. It's just like, well, how do people not know? So I guess, it's a growing company. So Ben, who is our marketing manager, he was just brought on to the company this past year. And, I took over social media and community management. So we're building the company. So more people are going to start learning about it. And it's so fun to be able to see stuff before it comes out now. I'm like, oh, I want to tell everybody about this thing, but I can't tell anybody about this. It's one of those things, which luckily, doing voice acting and stuff, I'm used to NDAs. So,
Mhm.
so it wasn't too bad, but sometimes I'm like, can we tell people about this yet? Can we tell people about this yet? No, we have to wait. Okay. Like today, I know this isn't going to air on IRL Reclamation Day, but during meetings last week, I was like, oh, by the way, Monday is IRL Reclamation Day. The governor or I think it was the governor of West Virginia declared it
Mhm.
Reclamation Day, a few years back. And they're like, what? How do you know? I'll come up with these. I'll be like, yeah, did you know that this is a holiday coming up for Fallout? What? No, how do you know that? I love Fallout. I'm sorry. So it's been a good asset for them, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. I had a look at the post you retweeted from West Virginia about
Yeah.
Reclamation Day and how it boosts their tourism and brings people into the area. So it's good for everybody. I mean, it's not good if you're in
Mhm.
the post-apocalyptic, but that's another story.
Yeah.
And something you can talk about, something that can help new overseers come in, is the starter set
Mhm.
that's been announced / released by the time of recording. What's it been like getting your hands on that, and how do you think it would help a new overseer sort of present the game to new players or new survivors?
Yeah. Well, what's special about the starter set is it teaches, especially with the starter set for Fallout 2D20. It is written in such a I mean, Jonathan did such an amazing job, and everybody that worked on the project did such an amazing job with this. It is written the story that comes with it, that's called Once Upon a Time in the Wasteland. It's written in a way that it teaches you, even as an inexperienced overseer, it teaches you how to teach the game to your players. So each scenario that you're going through, each chapter that you go through, it introduces more rules for you to test your players on. And I think that's really special that it teaches you as you play. Because I feel like, so many of these TTRPGs, it's so much like you have to know so many rules and it's so
Mm.
intimidating. So I think that's something that's really special about the starter set for Fallout 2D20 is it teaches you as you're going in this adventure. And it also comes with the GM toolkit, which is it goes through rules light stuff for you. It's not the big core rule book that we have as well that came out before that. It was our core product
Mm.
is the core rule book. Um, so yeah, so you can just pick up the starter set, and if you love it, then yes, absolutely, you should get the core rule book. We also have the quick start adventure. There's an adventure in the back of the core rule book. So I've run all of these games now, and they're so well written and they're so much fun. And I've also done my own homebrew stuff. So yeah, it's just the options are limitless, I guess. So
Yeah, I definitely recommend people give the 2D20 system, particularly with Fallout, a real good try. It's such a great system to run, and the IP suits it so well for that sort of rules light yet cinematic feel. If
mhm.
you'll agree with that.
Yeah, it's the game. So 2D20 is very um it's it's RP heavy and combat light. So if you're into more combat, then we've got the skirmish games. Those are the more combat heavy
Mm.
games that we have, and we do have Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So if that's more your forte, then we've got games like that for you. But the 2D20 game, it's meant to be more RP heavy, and the battles are going to be hard, but they're not going to for instance D&D. The battles aren't going to last 5 hours of
Yeah,
fights. So which is kind of nice.
yeah. Was swerving onto the D&D lane for a moment with respect to DMing. GMing is a
Yeah.
generic term, but DMing with respect to D&D, you relatively recently, from time of recording, if memory serves, got your first TPK. So,
Yes.
um,
Mhm.
what advice would you give to game masters, overseers, dungeon masters in how to sort of just general tips on running games for either new players or picking up new systems?
Well, yeah. So I had killed my first player in D&D just a few months ago, like earlier this year, and I was devastated. Like that he could not be brought back. Well, he could have, but I mean, he died the true death, and I could have narratively made it to where there was somebody in town that could have saved him, but nobody in the party could have saved him, and that was just devastating. But it was also he loved it. He thought it was great. So it worked out, and he was like, I have this other character in mind. It's gonna be good. So that was nice. The TPK happened with the 2D20 system. It was at the end of so yeah. So if you're interested into seeing how that works out, it was using the starter set, the Once Upon in the Wasteland, Once Upon a Time in the Wasteland adventure from the starter set, and it was glorious. It could not have ended for the group that I was running it for. It couldn't have ended a better way. It was brilliant. But so advice, for new GMs or GMs that are or DMs that are, starting out and trying to learn new systems, maybe all you've ever known is D&D. Is first, there are there's a plethora of other games out there. I mean, Vampire the Masquerade, there's Hunter the Reckoning, which, World of Darkness, love them. My Little Pony by Renegade Game Studios, they make one. There's Dresden Files. If you've ever read the Dresden Files series, there's that game. There's Tales of Zadia, Cortex, and then of course, Modiphius, we make tons of games, Dune, Star Trek Adventures. So there's something out there for everyone. So don't feel like you need to limit yourself to just D&D because that's what's the most popular. Because I love D&D. D&D is always going to be, probably my favorite or one of my top favorites, but explore what's out there because there's so much fun and some different things out there to enjoy in tabletop. Some of the rules are going to be different, but just take your time. And as long as you're having fun and the people at your table are having fun, if you fuck up a rule, it's going to be okay. As long as everybody's having fun. So, yeah.
And sort of having TPK'd group, so having taken everything away from a group, you give back as well. You take part in charity games and charity events. What's it like giving back to the community in that respect?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to cry. It's giving back to charity and being able to make a difference in the world has also been something that I've been wildly passionate about. A little bit of background with that is I worked for Chili's, the restaurant Chili's, for like 10 years. And my favorite time of year was always in the fall, when we would raise funds for St. Jude Children's Hospital. So I was always the top not seller, but the donation drive person. I was always the top one in my, I always got the most
kind of person.
I always got the most donations out of my at my store, and most of the time my area and my region. And it's just because it was just something so special, like being able to make a difference in people's lives that when they're going through something absolutely awful. I had 2 cousins growing up that had cystic fibrosis, so children with childhood illnesses. They both passed, one at 16 and one at 21. And it's just, so St. Jude is like one of my all-time favorite charities to give to. And that's why I love Fallout for Hope, which I've kind of like brought in to try to have more involvement with them, because mainly it's just Fallout streamers that were doing Fallout for Hope. And I'm like, hey, there's Fallout tabletop role-playing game streamers that should be, doing this too. And so I love being able to do that. And, Wounded Warrior Project as well is another one of my, the ones that I care about a lot and have had the opportunity to work with them and do therapeutic D&D sessions and teach veterans how to play D&D. So that's been another wonderful, I love it. I love helping people and bringing people joy through tabletop.
Yeah, no, I can hear it. I can feel it in your voice. And so from making an impact on other people's lives in such a positive way through these charity games and streams and fundraising and all the sort of good work you do on that respect. What about yourself? What about the characters you've embodied? Have any of them had an impact on your life? Maybe shown you something about yourself, or maybe you've had, or maybe an emotional moment you've had, a real connection with a character in a moment during a game that's stayed with you.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I love playing characters that stand up for injustice in the world, that stand up to people who are bullies. And it's something that I myself, I am kind of shy. I don't know. I don't know if I'm kind of shy, I guess, until I get to know people, and then I don't shut up. Um, but I just, when I build characters, it's really hard for me to build a character that is meek and quiet and won't stand up when it comes to the time of someone standing up. So, and because that's the kind of person I want to be. And so I feel like through playing these characters that I get to build like that, it's impacted me as a person and shown me that I have the strength. I can role play this. So why can't I role play it in real life, like as me? So it's been a therapeutic experience for me to play these powerful characters and give myself some credit and, empower myself. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And to find strength within yourself through another version of yourself almost is such a powerful tool that these games can provide us. And everything you do with St. Jude's and the Wounded Warrior projects, I doff my hat 100%. And
Thank you.
so moving from where you've come from, what you've done recently, what you've done leading up to this point, we've mentioned the mini painting, but what is next for you, April? Where is your TTRPG leading? What's further down the line for you?
Well, yeah, I plan on, of course, I love my position at Modiphius. I love working for this company, and it's a great group of people that I work with. But yeah, so I mean, this next year I really want to start streaming some of my own content, like I said, with the miniature painting and the tabletop terrain stuff. But also I've been asked if I would like to start writing and publishing some Fallout adventures for the company. So hopefully I will be able to find the time to do that. And hopefully it's good enough that because they asked if I'd like to. So I'm hoping that I can deliver. And yeah, that might be where it leads next.
Well, they
Wearing
clearly
the
know
role of
talent when
writer.
they see it. Yeah, no,
Oh,
it'll be exciting. Obviously, there'll be a team that's there to support you, editors and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah.
to have the opportunity to build on the lore that's already established, or take it somewhere else, that must be so almost exhilarating for yourself, who is so sort of in love, might be too strong, but in
Oh,
love with
no, I would
the
say that'd
world.
be
No, no,
accurate.
okay. In love with the world, the lore, and everything that's been established by sort of Bethesda and through Modiphius with the releases. So now,
And the new TV show coming out soon
can you
on
say more?
Amazon Prime. Yeah. It's gonna be there's gonna be a Fallout TV show on Amazon. I'm so excited. There's like Fallout everywhere. And now all of a sudden there's Fallout like on Doritos, there's Fallout on like I'm like, yes, what a great time to be alive in the world of Fallout. There's just Fallout everywhere. I'm like, yes, now make a new game. Make a new video game so I can just be totally immersed in the Fallout.
No, that'd be well. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. I know. Was their most recent was 76? I believe that's where the
Yes.
Reclamation Day sort of stemmed from in that respect.
Mhm.
So no, we can only cross our fingers and wait with bated breath with sort of the chance to play once again in that sandbox.
Yeah.
So we mentioned that there are many, many other games out there that
Mhm.
can be run, can be read through and experienced. You mentioned a few fantastic games. Is there any that you would want to play that you haven't had the chance to just yet?
Oh, I did mention one of the ones that I have not had the chance to play yet. I would love to play Hunter. Um, Gosh, it just I've had the opportunity to see character creation and stuff for it and see some of the content for it. And it just seems I really love the show Supernatural,
Mm,
with Sam and Dean
yeah.
Winchester. And I feel like it is very, very supernatural related or adjacent. And I think it would just be so much fun to play that game. It looks like a blast. And there's another game coming out from Modiphius this next year that I cannot wait
Mm.
to play, but I cannot talk about it. But I am
Oh,
so excited. So excited for it.
absolute
Probably
tease. Because
more
if you're
so.
excited for it, then I'm excited for it.
I think I might like it more than Fallout.
No,
That's all I can say.
no,
I
the
know
pencil's
that's
gone down.
saying a
I'm
lot.
struggling. I'm struggling to believe this is the case. Um,
I know.
So, well, I'm looking forward to what comes out. Obviously, as we mentioned, alongside Fallout, the 2D20 system also supports Acton Cthulhu and Star Trek Adventures and a few other things which I believe are in the works. So, what Dune as well? Dune.
Yeah, Dune, Conan, John Carter of Mars. We've got there's a lot. We've got, yeah, and not just that, not just TTRPGs and skirmish games. We make board games like
Mm.
Kung Fu Panda, Agatha Christie's Death on the Cards. Um, so yeah, just so many games.
Are you
We have
out to more?
Dishonored that just came out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dishonored. I own that. I really should have remembered that. Uh,
yeah.
so does
Oh, Homeworld. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, are you able to get to more conventions for this sort of, I guess, quarter 4/quarter 1, depending on when the conventions run, or are you sort of
Yeah.
stepping back from conventions?
Oh no, our events, because we did hire an events manager. So yeah, so this next year should be full full of events that I'm going to. Of course, Dragon Meet is the one that's coming up next, but Dragon Meet is of course over in the UK, so not something that they're going to pay to for my flight to go over there, because there's most of the employees are over there already, so they don't need
Mm.
me over there. But I also have connections with this other company who we might be partnering with Modiphius, or I might just be going over there with myself, just me with this other company
Mm.
that I'm talking to about going to run live games in Las Vegas in January.
Oh wow!
Uh, so yeah, so I'll be running live games in January in Las Vegas, but I'll post more about that as soon as I know more about dates and stuff, and if it's going to be with Modiphius or with just this company. Um, and then Adepticon is going to be the next one, I guess, next year.
Mm.
Adepticon is going to be the first one of the year, I guess, with Modiphius for sure. Which is, yeah. But then after that, it's gonna be a lot of conventions. So
Is it? You might not be able to answer, but is it Fallout in Las Vegas?
I
As in
that
New Vegas?
I know, right? That's something that I've pitched to my boss, that because they have D&D in a castle, and I said, why don't we do Fallout New Vegas in Vegas? And that could be a thing, right? We could just go play Fallout in the desert. It'd be great. They've got Wasteland Weekend already.
Mm.
In the desert. Why can't we make it a TTRPG thing? It'd be
That's
expensive.
an excellent question. So, with streaming games and running games, community management on many different fronts, and how you manage that is it boggles my mind. But the excellent job you do with community management on several fronts. Do you get much downtime? Do you get time away from the sort of the screens and the
No.
sort of okay. Well, that was a short and sweet
You can
answer.
look at Yeah, if you could look at I don't wanna I should show somebody, or I should show you sometime. If you look, because I do a lot of my stuff from my phone. Um, if you looked at my screen time activity on my phone, it's bad. I'm on the socials, talking to people, posting stuff, liking stuff all day. So yeah, I don't mind. It's
Correct.
fine, but I I it's probably not good for my health, but I'm doing my job and I'm enjoying it. So, yeah.
I mean, that's fair enough. So, uh, so so far we've spoken about yourself, how you got into the games, how you got into sort of working with Modiphius and moving into stream games with, should we say, satellite groups around a social hub. I think that's a fair
Yes.
explanation of how the initiative order works and those other groups. And what's coming next? Is there anything that I haven't mentioned as yet that you would like to bring up?
Oh, well, yeah. So I'm involved in a D&D podcast with Tabletops and Travelers, which our DM is is Art, who is on, I guess, Instagram is the Arthur of Gaming. So he's a pretty cool dude, and we've got some great players, and so yeah, that's a podcast only, and Tabletops and Travelers, and I also have the honor of being one of the professional DMs for Heroic Story, which is this cool new initiative where it's kind of, the way I like to explain it is it's kind of like an MMO tabletop setting. So people so people jump in, and it's a West Marches style gameplay, but each DM controls an area of the world. The area of the world that I'm in is this, I guess, Jason Charles Miller and I are a part of this. We DM and run this part of the world, and then the lead DM that has done a lot of the writing for everything is Ron Ogden from Dungeon Run. And so yeah, it's a lot of fun because people just jump in with some people that maybe they've played with before, maybe they haven't played with before. So like that's why I say it's an MMO TTRPG D&D experience, because you're playing in a world, but you might always have a different DM depending on what part of the world you're in, and it's been a lot of fun. Especially getting to run games and collaborate with some of these world class dungeon masters.
They are some incredible names and sort of amazing personalities within the TTRPG community. It must be such a privilege to be able to not just sort of be involved in the community with them, but to sort of interact and DM with them almost directly.
Yeah, it's like a dream. I feel so honored to be among such amazing storytellers. I mean, Eliza Pearl she's a fangirl over her. She is amazing. She's an amazing actor. She's an amazing human being. And when I saw that she was, a part of this project, I was like, oh my gosh, I get to, be a TM with, not with her, but like in a group that she also TMs. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And Ron is fantastic. He's so funny and such a good role player. And of course, everybody knows Luke Gygax. That's, it's really cool being a part of this group. I fangirl over everybody that I work with all the time, and my players. Like, it's intense. I'm just like, ugh.
I mean,
So excited about it.
You've made it. You're where you belong. Effectively, you wouldn't have been invited there otherwise.
That's I don't know. I feel very blessed, and it's so cool to be able to work and do something that I love and enjoy, and I'm so passionate about.
I
So
will.
it's
Yeah,
very
I will make
exciting.
sure there's a link to Heroic Story and to Tabletops and Travelers, the podcast you're involved with, down in the description below, so people can come and check out your audio-only content and then your West Marches style campaign content moving forward, and coming and get involved with this incredible sort of MMO TTRPG style sort of. It's not even an event; it's just a
It's an experience.
Thank you, experience. Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to lie, I'm very jealous of you in that respect, because it sounds amazing to be not just involved with, but to have the chance to sort of be involved. Yeah, no, that's just said the same thing. But my mind is blown. That's all I'm saying. It's incredible. So,
Thank you.
but we have covered a lot, and just pulling at threads left, right, and center here. But it's been such an honor to get you on, April. I've followed you on social media for a while and supported.
Yeah, same.
And I'd love to get you back. Before I go into the ending spiel, as it were, where can we find you? We've mentioned a couple of places just there, but where can we find you on social media so that others can follow you and support your content, please?
Well, stiletto_assassin on Instagram, and while it's still up, before it might die, who knows? We don't know what the future holds for Twitter, but if you are on Twitter and you want to follow me there, it's Stiletto DM on Twitter. But yeah, those are my two main platforms. And I guess, I might start posting TikTok once I start doing miniature painting and stuff. I guess stiletto_assassin on TikTok. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will put links to your socials, to Modiphius and Tabletops and Travelers, Heroic Story, and all the things we've mentioned there down in the description below this podcast. So please scroll down, support April and everything.
And the initiative order. The initiative order. That's where most of my streams are done on.
That is it. They do have a wonderful Discord community as well, which we are both part of. I'm joined much later, but it's such a welcoming community, and as you said, there's so many satellites of activity around to get involved with, and so many good people involved, yourself included, of course. That it's been a real joy and privilege to be involved in that community.
Thank you. So, thanks. Yeah, there's a lot of great people in here, and I feel like everyone they just have a heart for gaming and a heart for community, and just wanting to let the games be the games and have fun and no hate, which it's beautiful. It's a beautiful community. I feel really at home with them.
Same. So, April, I'd love to get you back on the show in the future. You've mentioned new games, new projects, so many new things sort of coming and going. I'd love to get you back on the show, even if it was for a one-shot for one of the systems that we've mentioned. You mentioned My Little Pony. That's the Essence 20 system from Renegade. A 2D20 thing, anything like that. If the opportunity comes up, if you'd be willing to come back and join me.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great. I think I'm going to be running a one-shot for Creators Assemble maybe in January sometime. So yeah, so doing stuff with other, Creators Assemble is one of those other, networks that we like to, one of those other communities we like to work with. So yeah, I like hanging out and chilling and meeting new people and playing games with, like-minded individuals that just love the game.
It would be such an honor to get you back in the future. And thank you so much for joining me today, April. It's been a real treat for me.
Yeah, thanks. Me too.
We will speak again soon.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for listening. If you'd like to learn more about the show, then go to www.snydersreturn.squarespace.com. Alternatively, you can find us over on Twitter @ReturnSnyder. We have a Linktree link in the description of this episode. And if you want to support us, come and join us over on Patreon, and we also have a Discord server. Please leave us a review, because we'd love to learn how to improve the channel and provide better content out for those who are listening. Until we speak again, thank you.